The glorious Istanbul continues to fascinate visitors and locals alike with the vibrancy and great variety. May it be in arts and culture, eating and drinking, shopping or sports, there is always something new in Istanbul for everyone and every taste. It embraces a mixture of European and Asian culture, and visitors will sense the contrast with each turn. If there is one city that can truly claim the title of being the gateway to both Europe and Asia, it's Istanbul. To really explore and understand the culture and energy of the city, one would need months or even years. But we have highlighted our favorite things to do in Istanbul from our visits. Straddling two continents, Istanbul is a city divided by the narrow waterway known as the Bosphorus. During our time in Istanbul, we witnessed young urbanites embracing the modern world, while others cling to traditional values of the Byzantine period and the Ottoman Empire. Number 5. Nostalgic Tram Ride. The Istanbul Nostalgic Tramways are two heritage tram lines in the city. One on the European side, which runs on the Istiklal Street, and the other on the Asian side known as Kadıköy Moda Nostalgic Tramway. Istanbul, the former capital of Turkey, once had a large tramway network on both the Asian and European sides. These started as horse trams but gradually changed to electric. But as happens in most cities around the world, tram service in Istanbul began to close in 1956 and ended completely in 1966. Trams returned to Istanbul in 1990 with the opening of the Istiklal Street tram. The city is divided between Asia and Europe, and while the Asian side has a heritage tram system, the European side has both heritage tram system and modern tram system. The European side tramway, Istiklal Nostalgia Tramway, runs from Taksim to Tunnel, and the Asian side tramway runs as a clockwise circular route from Kadıköy to Moda and back to Kadıköy. Number 4. Whirling Dervish. Watch the mystical ritual of the Mevlevi order, whose whirling dance has been declared a UNESCO Heritage of Humanity. The Sema ceremony is a journey through man's spiritual ascent to perfection through mind and love. A truly unmissable and astonishing experience of music and moves. A solemn silence falls over the audience as 5 musicians dressed in long black cloaks and conical beige hats enter the room and take their seats at the opening of our semicircle. One by one they begin to play an eerie, ethereal tune with their instruments. As one drummer ceases his pounding, he unleashes his voice in some of the most beautiful yet desolate deep singing we have ever heard, and the dervishes begin to enter the room. On the dancers' heads sit a conical felt hat called a sek, representing the tombstones of their egos. Their dark cloaks representing the wearer's worldly life and are cast off before the ceremony begins. Only when the dervish is wearing just his white robe is he ready to begin the complex worlds of the Sema. The idea is that these ritual mimics leaving the earthly world behind in order to become one with God. Number 3. Turkish Coffee. The 3 most integral beverages for Turks are raki, ayran and Turkish coffee. While they all have their specialties, it's the process of making Turkish coffee that stand out as particularly important to culture. In fact, there are even specific traditions regarding how you serve this beverage. Istanbul is one of the best places to get coffee in the world. The Turkish coffee culture has been around for centuries, and it's no surprise that the locals are addicted to Turkish coffee, and many places are serving Turkish coffee in this city. Although there are numerous delicious foods and beverages to try in Istanbul before you leave, without a doubt, Turkish coffee and Turkish delight are some of the essential ones. If you are a coffee lover, you will be amazed by the strong and flavorful Turkish coffee, unlike any other. Coffee consumption is customary after meals or when guests are over at the Turkish household. Number 2. Shopping in Grand Bazaar. Istanbul's Grand Bazaar is one of the world's greatest shopping destinations, and spanning 30,000 square meters, is the largest covered market in the entire world. The bazaar began its life in 1461 and steadily expanded, swallowing up surrounding ground over the centuries of Ottoman rule. A visit here is not simply about shopping for souvenirs. With its grand arcaded main streets and narrow alleys leading between hands and bedsteads, it is one of the best places to visit in Istanbul to get a sense of Ottoman life. Unsurprisingly, the Grand Bazaar is one of the world's top tourist attractions, and a visit here rates top of many people's thing-to-do list while in Istanbul. Drinking tea and chatting with the shopkeepers here is a part of the experience. You will be offered tea by everyone. Your experience here will be much richer and more fun if you take the time to partake in this Turkish hospitality. Bargaining is the name of the game. For an idea how much items cost, spend some time browsing a range of shops before purchasing. Carpets, lamps, ceramics, water pipe, jewelry, fashion accessories, and sweet edibles are some of the top choices of items that can be bought from Grand Bazaar. Number 1. Bosphorus Cruise. A cruise on the Bosphorus is probably the most overlooked Istanbul tourist attraction. With such an abundance of historical sightseeing spots in Istanbul and too little time to squeeze them all, it is quite understandable. But take our advice and set a few hours aside to take an unforgettable Bosphorus tour. Sehir Hatlari is Istanbul's official ferry company. It offers 3 great Bosphorus tours: Short Circle Bosphorus Cruise, Full Bosphorus Cruise, and the Full Bosphorus Cruise by night. We recommend the Full Bosphorus tour, which offers a great Bosphorus experience and will take several hours in total. For a mere 25 lira, this cruise will take you from Eminönü all the way to the Black Sea and back. Each way takes about 90 minutes since the ferry makes 5 short stops to let people on and off. You must get off the ferry in Anadolu Kavagi, the last harbour before the Black Sea. This gives you the opportunity to grab lunch in one of the town's fish restaurants located on the shore and visit the fortress. Princess Islands. A small haven of peace in Istanbul and a perfect place to relax and enjoy nature. The Princess Islands are archipelago in the Sea of Marmara. They evolved from a place of exile during the Byzantine era to a popular destination for tourists. Of those 9 islands, only 4 of them are open to the public. The main feature of any of the Princess Islands is the sound of silence. All fuel-driven vehicles are banned, making the island an oasis of peace and quiet. The main transportation means are bicycles, electric buses, and electric taxis, the latter replacing the typical horse-drawn carriages since 2020. The only sounds you'll hear are the bicycle bells and footsteps. Hey guys, we hope you liked the video. Don't forget to press the thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon for more awesome travelogues.